If you're stuck at home and going a little stir crazy, how about a good book? Bells for Eli is a novel based in South Carolina, and this morning we have author Susan ZURENDA here joining us via Skype to tell us all about it. Susan, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Demarcus.
Yeah, we have a little commonality going on with where you're from. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got into this whole author thing.
I I guess since I was a little girl, I've always felt compelled to write, and my father even read poetry to my brother and me when at bedtime when we were children. My mom was an elementary school teacher, and he used her children's lit books, so I was fascinated by the sounds of language early on. But I did actually started out life as a music major and taking a course in Southern literature my sophomore year changed everything, or it was a big factor in it. So I taught English, excuse me, for a long time, 33 years. And then when I retired, I finally had the time to write the novel I wanted to write.
I love that. I'm finding out even more commonalities we have. You were from Lancaster, South Carolina. I grew up in the small town Great Falls, right next to Lancaster. You started as a music major. I started as a music major. Look at that.
Wow.
We may be
How
related.
about that? How about that? And the setting, which is the fictitious town of Green Branch, South Carolina, in Bells for Eli, it's not it's not Lancaster and it's not Winsboro. You know, Great Falls is in the middle of those two towns, but there are elements of both towns, I think, in the novel. I used the town clock in Winsboro. I needed my character Eli is obsessed with bells, and I needed that town clock for him to climb. So I used elements of those places.
I love that, and people love when you bring in elements that a lot of people that are from small towns in South Carolina can really grasp onto, and that those types of
Uh-huh.
Southern values and kind of commonalities we have there. Let's introduce people to Eli, and it's based off some real life situations.
Correct. Correct. My character Ellison, that is Eli Winfield, is based. Well, his whole character isn't based, but the novel is inspired by an accident my first cousin Danny had when he was on his second birthday. That his family lived in Plainfield, New Jersey, and I was in South Carolina. I didn't grow up with him, but he swallowed Red Devil Live from a Coca-Cola bottle. He survived the accident, but of course, his life was forever changed by it. And my character Eli suffers a similar accident, and the novel follows the trajectory of his life and how that accident affects not only him but the people around him.
Yeah, and I think there's some really good themes in this story that people can really grasp onto, like how do you treat other people that may have some type of deformity or some type of injury that makes them a
Exactly.
bit different from us.
Right.
So what do you want
Right.
people to take away from this story?
Well, I hope Bells for Eli will touch people's hearts. I hope that they will pay attention to how human beings treat one another and to see that in a world where pain and trauma threaten to triumph, because Eli is bullied as a child and he has emotional scars from that, but that ultimately love can triumph.
And I think that's such a great and an important message, especially now in the time of COVID-19, where we're
Oh
all kind
gosh,
of trying to
yes.
figure out a way to get back to
Right.
that place where we started from, of treating people the way we wanted to be treated. We're stripped
That's
away
right.
from all the things that we thought that we had. So
That's
now
right.
we can just cuddle
Right.
up to a good book. And this is a great story to
Right.
kind of remind us of that.
Yeah, there are many good titles that would fulfill that, but Bells for Eli is definitely one of them. It will take you back to a different place, or if you're a young person, a place you've never been, and help you see that no matter where we live or when we live, human nature doesn't change, and our need to love one another doesn't change either.
And I got to say, congratulations to you for the winter 2020 Okra pick by the South Carolina Independent Booksellers Alliance. So this book is getting lots of awards and some recognition for the story too. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. I have been very fortunate. Yes, I have been very fortunate in the young life so far of Bells for Eli. It came out March 2nd.
And of course, this COVID-19 is impacting lots of folks, and it's impacting, of course, your book tour for this book. So how are some ways that people can support you? Get this. We're going to apparently be, quarantined and kind of social
Right.
distancing for a long time. How can we get this book and also support you?
Well, our wonderful local Hub City bookshop has copies of Bells for Eli. I think they still have some signed copies, and they are just doing a marvelous job. They will meet you at the curbside to give you my title or the titles of other books. Um, of course, you can order the book online. IndieBound is a great way to go. Amazon, right now, as I understand it, is not restocking non-essential items, and books would fall in that category. And I think there are still a few copies left there, but not very many. So there are other avenues for getting the book. And if you just go to indiebound.org, that's an excellent one because that will get the book through an independent bookstore to you, can be mailed to you that way. But I and other authors are reimagining ourselves. I had over 50 book events set up in 8 states between March and Memorial Day. So my world is very different from what I thought it would be these 3 months, and I'm on Plan B, and that is to try to reach out to virtual book clubs, to do a lot more social messaging than I had planned to do because I was going to have all these physical events, and other authors are doing the same thing.
And I think that's great. You're a woman after my own heart of wanting to support those independent bookstores because they're such
Yes,
a vital part of
indeed.
our communities. And we have a great one here
Yes,
with the Hub City Bookstore.
we certainly do.
Yeah.
We certainly do.
Susan, thank you so much for sharing this story. I really think it's one that our viewers will grasp onto. You can always go to susanzurenda.com for you could keep up with what's going on her. Maybe she'll get some book tours on the list coming up here in just a few months. We hope this thing is all over
Oh,
by then.
I hope so. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you so much for supporting Bells for Eli and books.
Likewise, Susan, thank you so much for talking to us, and best prayers and wishes to you and your family.
And the same to you.
Thank you.